Welcome, everyone, to Awesome Truth, a wrestling book club. I'm your host, Steve Samino, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Walsh Wang. Hey, Walters.
Hello, Steven. How's it going?
My friend, it is going very well. We are back on Awesome Truth, and we're doing a watch-along. Well, another watch-along to go along with a very recent match, as recent as a few days ago. Of course, I'm talking about Survivor Series WarGames and the main event that features the OG Bloodline versus, I guess, the new Bloodline.
Yeah, a lot of this podcast is going to be me trying to piece together the last 4-ish months of WWE booking because I'm admittedly very behind.
But we'll do it together because I'm in the same boat. So
great. Well, I mean, I can figure out I can fill in the blanks between Uso stories. You know, I feel like pretty good at that at this point, but
we'll talk about why Bronson Reed is there because I think that's the main question.
That's going to be a blind spot for me.
Yeah. All right. Well, what's the time code for everyone watching along?
If you're watching on the Peacock, it's 2 hours, 30 minutes, 8 seconds.
There we go.
Right at the bell.
All right, there we go. All right, let's go. Let's go if you're ready. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right, 3, 2, 1. WarGames. Okay, there's the bell. So we're starting with what? Jay, Uso, and Tama Tonga?
Believe so.
Where's it Tonga Loa? I honestly don't know them. I have not watched enough recently to be able to tell them apart in any notable way. So
Tama Tonga Loa.
Okay.
Wait, they're two different people. I know. Yeah, I know they're two different people.
I was gonna say.
But so we originally.
It sounds like it's Tama Tonga because it sounds like Corey just said Tama Tonga. So.
Okay. So thanks, we originally Corey. Tested this out just because we're trying new, using technology to our advantage in these things. I remember you were like, I think the video is buffering really slowly because the video looks like, no, they just are moving very slowly.
Yes. It was very confusing. I thought we were in trouble. I was like, is this not working? It's not going to go. But yeah, they're just creeping around like as if in slow motion or stuttering.
Yeah. It's not like a Kevin Owens Sami Zayn match where they just sprint each other, start punching as quickly as possible.
It is the opposite of that. But so this is obviously, it's not at all the culmination of this feud, I don't think, but it is sort of, no spoilers, but, it's a spoiler 48 minutes from now, we'll find out the answer, the definitive answer, but It is sort of an ending or a conclusive sort of moment in this feud, which I am intrigued by just because I think everyone sort of has an idea of where we're heading for Mania to some extent, and it's probably not, Roman. I guess it could be Roman Reigns versus Solo Sikoa, in which case, that would be logical. But it's just I'm intrigued to see where we go from here, given that this could be a blow off in a lot of other circumstances.
Right. Yeah. So I guess also too, Jay and Jimmy eventually reunited with Roman.
Yes, that's a thing I've picked up on. That happens. I think it was a little rushed from what I've read. Everyone was like, this was a series of huge pops, like Jay and Jimmy reuniting, Sami, becoming friends with everybody again. Like, and not only them becoming friends with each other, but them accepting Roman sort of accepting fault for his previous actions. Everyone seemed to be like, this is all a series of iconic moments. And I think they sort of moved through them a little quicker than people would have liked.
Yeah. And
how can they not, given the time? Like, if you only have a month to do all that, there's no way to let that breathe the way it should.
Yeah, but I guess they did kind of set it up with Bloodline attacks and taking out Jimmy, and so naturally he's not going to side with the new Bloodline. Why would he? He might not be super tight with Roman at this point, but he definitely is not with like Solo.
No, of course not. But and that definitely makes a lot of sense. But it does run contrary. One thing we always talk about with H on the show, one thing I certainly always say is H is very much like not a swerve guy. H is very much like, I'm going to do the thing that you all expect me to do, but I'm going to execute it so well that when it happens, you'll all be very happy. I guess the first Roman win over Rhodes was a swerve, but I imagine Vince was involved in it to some extent. That seemed like a little, bygone moment of the Vince era. For the most part, I would say, would you agree that H pretty much goes with what is supposed to happen?
Yeah, of course. But I think they had the luxury of, when they were doing the original Bloodlines segments on TV, they had the luxury of having them pretty consistently. if you only have Roman for certain dates and then like Jimmy and Jay are on different brands and stuff, and you kind of have to build this with very few dates, then yeah, I understand just cutting corners and just like getting to the cool moment quicker. But like, yeah, under normal circumstances, they would have like built like acknowledge the fact that there's definitely a little bit of tension because of years of strife and fighting.
And that is probably the logical next step here, you know, like sure, this match is over and but it doesn't really define anything. It's just one match. So there's a lot of time down the line for like, okay, now where does the alliance go from here? Where do Jimmy, Jay, Sami and Roman's alliance go from here? Because I'm sure the new bloodline is going to beat them up and be mean still. So they got in theory, they all need to really lock arms and stick with it. And that'll be fun to see how they now that the big reunion is over, where do they go next?
Yeah, I mean, that's always the question, right? Is where they go next.
Yeah, and we're doing that in the middle of this match, so I mean,
the middle is the first. This is in the first 4 minutes.
But I imagine most people watching this match in particular were not like so enthused about the minute by minute action, Like how are Jay and Tama Tonga gonna fight? It's like everyone wanted to see what happens in 6 seconds here when someone comes into the ring and has the interaction. Like that's the whole point of WarGames anyway.
Yeah,
it's a series of moments. I can't remember a WarGames where like the only iconic moments I can remember are when all 10 or 8 or however many guys are in the ring. So, Yeah. This is all just you could take a big poop during the next 20 minutes and you really wouldn't miss much.
Classically, the heels won this mythical coin toss that always happens.
Yeah, the match on SmackDown the night before or whatever to determine who goes first.
Yeah, because there wouldn't really be a WarGames if the heels didn't win that coin toss.
Yep. All right. Well, here's Bronson Reed, which
oh god,
he's in this match. Oh, this is pretty funny though. He's throwing chairs at his head. Jesus.
Oh jeez.
That's pretty intense.
Yeah, can we catch me up? Why is Bronson Reed in this?
I mean, H likes him, I guess, and he's feuding with Seth. I mean, this it sounds like this is what I read. I'm not watching on a week-to-week basis, but it sounds nor are you, which is again, we're good. That's a good, healthy thing to do is not watch Raw or SmackDown.
Have a life, yes.
Yeah. But from what I understand, Bronson Reed is feuding with Seth, as you probably know, and this is going to be an example of multi-layered storytelling where Bronson Reed joins this match. The logical thing was have Seth join the match, but then they went to Punk instead, and now Rollins is going to be mad at Reed still because they're feuding, but also at Punk because he's like that. That was sort of a spot that could have been me, And I think everybody thinks that's where we're going to head is sort of tendrils. Which if that's the case, that sounds great. Like that's way more complexity than Vince McMahon was ever capable of, and it's not even that complex. But
now, is that a kayfabe gripe with Seth that Punk took his spot, or is that a real life Twitter X comment that gets said at some point?
I think it's just wrestling stuff, but who knows? They're both pissy babies, so I mean, it's the pissiest baby matchup you could book in 2024. So
yeah. Sadly, I kind of agree with the booking. It's like, if you have Punk doing nothing and Seth doing nothing, and you have one spot to fill in this, I would rather have Punk in it, and then I guess in theory Seth could interfere. I have no idea what happens in this match.
Yeah,
it happened 2 days ago, so or last week we'll say.
It's also consistent with what should be the storytelling, and it's been sort of disrupted here and there. But Seth and Roman should probably forever hate each other to some extent, Or Roman should at least forever hate Seth.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Because Roman wouldn't be where he is if he didn't get betrayed by Seth a million years ago, That's sort of the inciting incident.
That is something that with time, if Seth was in the match, then they should have had at least one segment dedicated to like, listen, I don't like you, but I absolutely hate Bronson Reed, and therefore we have to have a truce to get through this so that we have common enemies.
Yeah, and while that does make sense, it's kind of stupid, especially when you say it out loud. Your thought is stupid, but to have Seth say, I hate Bronson Reed so much, that's not a very good catalyst for that,
Yeah, right.
Bronson Reed is not your forever enemy. He's just the fat guy you're wrestling right now,
And they'd have to tease the entire time, like Seth and Roman are not on the same page.
It would take away from the Bloodline versus Bloodline stuff, probably.
Yeah. Right.
They're kicking him.
Yeah,
The Usos are in the ring together, by the way, if you're not watching along.
Yeah, I mean, which you should, because otherwise, what the fuck is the point of all this?
Yeah.
But I will say though, like the fact that they brought up the chair shot at WrestleMania main event with Cody and Roman and Seth, like, just says that they still are teasing that it's going to be a thing in the immediate to long-term future. It's just Roman and Seth just are always at odds.
Yeah. The unfortunate thing is I feel like they wrestled each other since the breakout 12 times, 15 times, you know.
Right.
It's not a match. We've seen the matchup many, many times before. Doesn't mean they couldn't do it again at some point with a lot of relevance to it, but it's not like they've been kept away from each other for years and years. They've been very much around and in each other's orbits constantly. So it's fine. It's not, I didn't expect them to hold off on that for years, but they probably should have. And if H was in charge, not to give him like endless credit, but I suspect there would have been a lot more holding off of that matchup, you know?
Yeah. And
whatever.
I do think though that they haven't had many matchups since Roman became the tribal chief.
That's true.
Which that is something they could explore more of and would be good. But.
Yeah, and I like the idea of babyface Roman, an earned babyface Roman versus pissy heel Seth. You know, I'm like that's good because I think that's Seth's true form. And then Roman, whether it was his true form or not, he's earned the reactions he's getting for the first real as a babyface for the first time in his career. So I think it'd be fun to see them. The fans actually like both of them. I mean, some fans, I guess, like face Seth because they're deranged, but for the most part, that is I think that's something that is relatively fresh.
Yeah, and they shouldn't or use WarGames to set that up for the future because that could be a big time match when it happens again. But it has to be done the right way because to your point, I've seen the match already. There's no blow off.
Or like just them wrestling is not valuable.
Right.
The act of it simply, in a vacuum.
Yeah. I mean, also Punk and Roman is untapped.
That's what we're setting up here. I mean, that is something I read, that I guess the hook here for Punk being involved is Roman called Heyman and Heyman called Punk, but Heyman promised Punk a favor, I think.
Oh, I see.
So I think the idea is that's a title match at some point.
Yeah.
Where when Roman gets the title back, maybe? I don't know. It's not totally clear when that happens, but it's Jacob Fatu.
People love apparently.
Yeah, he seems like a psychopath. Like every time I've seen him wrestle, he's got a great psychotic vibe to him.
Yeah, it helps that he has a different look than the others too, which
because the Tama and Tonga Loa look exactly the same. So it's which is fine. They're a tag team. Like that was their whole thing in New Japan, obviously. But yeah, Jacob Fatu looks crazy. It's funny to see him be crazy because I know Dean Ambrose's gimmick is I'm crazy, and sometimes Dean Ambrose looks like a guy playing crazy,
right.
And this guy looks like an actual guy where if I saw him on the street, I'd be like, I'm gonna go to the other side of the street. This guy looks monstrous and frightening.
It helps that he looks so much like Haku.
Yes,
he is Haku's biological son, right?
I think so. Is it?
I thought so.
We'll find out.
Because there's an adopted son, which was the Tama.
Jacob Fatu is his parent was Sam Fatu. No, his dad was the Tonga kid.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, you're right. You're wrong. That's okay.
Whatever. If this was 1995, I would be.
Let's see who Haku's son is. I'm actually curious now.
Isn't his adopted son the Tama?
Haku's son is Tama Tonga.
Adopted or biological?
I think.
I thought it was adopted.
Oh, he's the adopted son, the nephew.
Okay. Yeah.
All right.
All right. Well. Anyway, so wish we could edit this part out of me just being 1,000% wrong.
I didn't know any of this. That's why I'm just looking up right now. I didn't know. I'm taking a break from all this to look up. It's so hard to keep track of all this.
Yeah.
His son is Hikalo.
Okay, well.
You know Hikalo? Do you know, familiar with him?
Sounds familiar.
He's from New Japan. Tavita Tonga Loa. Yeah, his son His Tonga Loa is his actual son, and Tama Tonga is his adopted son, I believe.
Oh, I see.
So it's really complicated. So I think we're all in the right for having no idea.
Okay, great. Well,
yeah, they're all many of them are related to Haku in some way.
Yeah. So Fatu,
Jacob Fatu
is just a crazy looking person.
Just looks crazy. Yes.
So I had it all wrong. Anyway.
That's the main takeaway. You're right about that part, though.
Hey, here's a question: where's Cody Rhodes in all this?
I think he got the pay-per-view off.
He's just done with the Samoans.
Well, this is the thing that I was thinking too, because again, someone who doesn't watch, like, especially because if you remember, as I'm sure everyone listening to this does, The Rock came back the end of the last pay-per-view, I believe, right? And he stood there. Oh, Roman's doing a thing. Oh, he wants Sami to go.
Oh, back to his old ways.
Sami makes such good faces.
Yeah.
The fact that Sami got himself involved in this storyline is unbelievable too, you know? That's
man.
Like there's no way the storyline here was ever Sami Zayn spends 2 years tied up with the bloodline, you know? There's no chance in hell that was ever the plan.
I mean, this is definitely a Vancouver play, right? Let's get Sami in there because of.
I mean, he has as much a history with them as anybody, you know? Like, I mean, who else could be in the spot?
But also just the Canadian.
I'm sure. I mean, giving him a little moment here, I'm sure, is certainly Canadian in nature. But everyone loves Sami now. He's like one of the top 10 guys, probably.
Yeah. He just hasn't been doing much except for.
Yeah. I mean, he beat Baby Goonts at Mania.
That's true, but that was also many months ago.
Yeah, and it didn't go anywhere, as we all knew it wouldn't go anywhere because it's just what do you do with that?
Yeah.
Great, you're the IC champion. Exciting.
Just call him Baby Goonts.
Yeah. I think that's an Adventure Time reference.
Okay.
You know Ice King's penguin is named Gunther?
No.
Yeah, his penguin is named Gunther.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
That's where he calls him Baby Goonts.
Yeah, great.
It's a good name, though, right?
Yeah. It helps that, like, Gunther does kind of look and dress like a giant baby.
Yeah, he does. And kind of like a giant penguin, too, a little bit, when he's wearing his big jacket.
I agree.
So yeah, wow. The good thing about this match is, again, talking about the aftermath before we're even over, there's a lot to go with it because Kevin Owens obviously is probably gonna be pissed that Sami went back to the bloodline because he's like, I was your fucking partner for this whole thing, you know, like when they betrayed you, they're best friends.
Did you see that?
Yeah, but then like so Owens will probably be mad at Sami. Cody is not involved. Cody can be plugged in at any point because he's the world champion and the biggest star on the show. Seth is going to get involved. So like there's a lot to do here, specifically on the OG bloodline or like the old bloodline side of, you know, who they can what aftermath comes from having teamed up to do this. Oh, that's great. Have you seen that? That was a hot gif. That was the show's hot gif.
Roman and Punk.
Roman and Punk standing on the other side of the cage, looking like,
yeah.
What's the deal with this guy?
Yeah. Yeah. Man, these matches definitely do kind of drag a little bit.
I mean, the only other one we've done was the Horseman one, right? Horseman versus NWO.
But it was 4 people.
Yeah.
If you remember.
And I believe you and I had this conversation maybe over the weekend. Why do these have to be 5 people? Why can't they just be 4?
I mean, could we have gotten away without Bronson Reed and without Punk?
I think yes, easily. I mean, so I think I was going to say this earlier. Here comes Tonga Loa. My whole thing was, I thought the whole hook was going to be, especially because Rock just came back, there's going to be 4-on-4, and the idea is what team is Rock going to join, you know?
Right.
And then, or even maybe there's 5-on-5, but the 5-on-5 is sort of nebulous because one team's 5th member is going to be The Rock, and you don't know whose it is. And they could have even just said it's nobody's, you know? Like, they could have just said, never mind, it's just 4-on-4. But, like, I thought that was the idea, and that makes a lot more sense, doesn't it? Like, especially with Rock being on the periphery so openly, it seems crazy that Rock would choose to not get involved.
Do we know that The Rock is new or old? OG?
No, I believe what he did was come out at the October pay-per-view and put his little fingies up, didn't he?
I mean,
I'm pretty sure that's what happened.
I'm behind on a lot of programming here, so
let me go back to this one sec. No, not that show. This show.
Okay. It's currently 4-on-3, by the way, in the ring. Just to It's just a signpost a
Yeah.
little bit.
So the end of the match. At the end of the match, Cody was at Bad Blood. I remember, and then Reigns had the belt. You know about this, right?
It was Cody and Reigns versus the new Bloodline,
versus
right?
Solo and Fatu.
Yeah,
and Cody
Fatu,
and Roman won.
Yeah.
And then Roman had the belt in his hands, and instead of like hitting Cody or whatever, he gave it back to Cody, and they did a little bit of a, they all just stood tall and hooray. And then Rock came back and stared everybody down and counted to 3 and made a throat slash gesture and then left. So you're like, whoa, okay, Rock's back. What side is he on? And then this has all happened, and that doesn't really matter. Yeah.
Right. Well, I mean,
that's why in my head I was like, maybe the plans changed because Rock's schedule changed,
Right. Well, I mean, I guess Red Ones needed an emergency PR push.
For the shitty, I guess it actually didn't bomb as hard as everyone thought it might, but it did not do well. But it definitely made Rock look, hopefully, like a fool. But
oh my God, Jake and Fatu with
the like springboard
springboards,
thing.
Yeah,
springboard moonsault.
Yeah, I was gonna say split leg, but it wasn't really a split leg.
Yeah, he's no RVD.
No.
Yep. So this match is still going on. We're really just waiting for Roman and Solo at this point, and Punk, I guess.
Yeah, we are shoving Punk and Bronson Reed into this. It seems even in the past. Unless this is used to set up a Roman Punk kind of storyline, which I
guess,
but
like, why would Punk want to face Roman unless it was for the belt?
Why? Well, he faced Drew for the sake of facing Drew, right?
Yeah, but I mean, why does Punk want the idea? Punk wouldn't join this team. Oh, is Roman going out? Oh.
Okay.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Why don't they talk about this stuff? Like, okay, so I'm going to go out next.
I guess there's Discord though, right?
Yeah.
Between our good guys.
I mean, I have no idea who wins this. I have no idea what any aftermath, but I'm curious to see how Punk is going to get himself injured in this.
I don't know. I was just about to say the Punk return, which I believe happened a year ago at last year's Survivor Series, right?
Yeah. Or to this event.
Yeah, to this event, not to the day, obviously. But I will say the Punk return has been such a success, and I did not see that coming at all. I figured obviously they were going to get the amazing first pop, and there was going to be a couple big matches, and he got hurt as he always does. But for the most part, he's been a good soldier as far as we know, and just been like a workman, guy at the top, at the upper mid card.
Now, do you agree with this, that the Punk Drew rivalries feud of the year? I mean, I guess it kind of is by default, but what else is there?
I mean, it feels like when you give a feud 3 matches at pay-per-views or whatever, I guess it's kind of got to be feud of the year if they're good. Yeah. But compared to Punk MJF, which I mean, we said it was really good. I don't know if I still think that was that good. Now that it's far away from it, I don't think about it ever. But it did. I can think of more iconic moments from that than I can from Punk Drew.
Right. That's totally fair.
Punk Drew is just, it's a good, the fact that they made that Drew didn't just rip his head off and they made it Punk a formidable, I still say I know everyone loves Punk and there's a time when I love Punk, but when he stands next to Drew McIntyre, you're you are a baby and this is a giant man, you're a little small guy against this mountain of a human. And the fact that they made it somewhat, obviously Punk had to win, but the fact they made it look good and then went on for so long, and Drew obviously Drew came out of it looking pretty good, I would say. So that's the great part is Drew definitely seems way more of a top heel than he did before that. So
yeah, and also doing if you're not going to fight for the title because of all this bloodline stuff, that's the next best thing is just put yourself in a blood feud with your best tourist in the company.
It does sort of cut his path off now because he doesn't make any sense for him to feud with Gunther, and there's no reason for him to get involved with Bloodline or Cody. So you're sort of where does he go now? Is he hurt? Is that why he's not doing stuff? Or is he taking a break?
I don't know, actually. That's a good question. I don't think he's hurt. Or maybe he was. Maybe he did get hurt. I heard. I don't remember.
Let's take a look real quick. I do love Drew though, obviously.
Yeah, Drew is great.
Drew is returning soon.
Great.
Cool.
I mean,
good for him.
Yeah, if I didn't trust that they had
lost
plans.
to Punk. He got busted open in Hell in a Cell. I think he was just like fake hurt. You know, I'm sure he could have used a break, but he just took a month off after the Punk feud, which is good. That's what they should do. After every feud, somebody should take a month off. You know.
Yeah, you shouldn't see someone
just cool him down for a second.
Yeah. I mean, that's called pacing.
Yes, it is.
It's like, I don't want to.
Well, here's a question for you. Mm-hmm. What do you think about Solo Sikoa at this point? And based on your limited knowledge, obviously you've seen him wrestle at like Manias and stuff and like other big events, but like he's the guy now, like in terms of a heel opposing these guys. Like, what do you think about that?
Here's my question back, which is like, if they were to lose this, like, where the hell do these guys go? Because like, I feel like it's if they do win this, which again I don't know who wins, so I'm not just like saying this to set up this like some sort of weird narrative in our podcast watch along, but like, but I think that kind of answers the question. It's like if they don't win this, then like what are we doing here at this point? Like it's just you're just like kind of like upper mid tier. I guess you could heat it up and you have all this history, but like they haven't really won a significant match yet. With the new bloodline, so it's like
lost a tag match to Cody and Roman. So I mean, and then there's this match, right?
Yeah. So like he beat John Cena 2 years ago.
I think didn't he pin Cody recently in some other unrelated match or something like that?
Maybe there was a 6-man tag. Maybe I don't remember.
Yeah, I think a Crown Jewel. I think they won Crown Jewel.
Yeah, but like okay, so you won that, and then Cody got his win back, and then everybody else got their win back, and then if they don't win tonight, it's like, all right. Why not throw Drew back in the mix then? Because like, what is Solo really doing for you? Like, not to say he's bad or like I don't like him, but it's like we are kind. Oh my god,
that was wild.
Yeah, Jacob Fatu doing anything is crazy. But yeah, I mean, I would say like let's. Oh, this is a tsunami.
Big Bronson Reed. Is that his move? Just a splash?
Big splash, yeah. But he does like 20 times, I believe.
Oh. Okay, like it's over and over type thing to crush you. That's fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, you've asked a very good question, and I don't know what the answer is, and especially because we're getting into Rumby season now too after this. So we're on the road to Rumby, and then we're on the road to Mania, and Mania is presumably going to be some variation of Rock, Roman, Cody. You know?
Yeah.
I don't see how it can be anything like that. Yeah.
If it's not, if the plans change, then what the fuck are we doing?
And I've also heard that it's going to be Punk Rollins, which also makes sense.
Makes sense, yeah.
But then what do we do to fill the other spots? What is Baby Goons doing? Probably something unrelated. Probably something a wrestling match. But who does Baby Goons have left to wrestle, you know?
Yeah.
I don't really know who he faces. Like what? Maybe Drew? I don't know. I have no idea what brand anybody's on. So no one get mad at me for my speculation because I don't know or care what brand anybody's on.
I should assume at some point everyone will be on Netflix because you can't just like how you can not have Netflix be a stacked.
Especially because SmackDown's going back to USA now, so it's like who cares about that?
Right. Yeah.
Friday night on US. At least they were on Fox for a while. That had cachet, you know.
Right. We're really going backwards now. Did
you see that report? Here comes Roman. Did you see that report, though? It's like Netflix would like Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, CM Punk, Becky Lynch. Like, it's like, yeah, I'm sure they would.
And they probably will get it.
I know. They probably will. They're paying them like $1 billion. But
we're really back to SmackDown being the B show.
Yeah, which could be fun, I guess, if they outdo the brands accordingly. Like, I wouldn't mind that if they just admit that, like, this is the show and the other one is like a show, you know, like not a capital A, like lowercase, like it's a show.
Yeah.
Our wrestlers are on it. It's like Thunder, and we're just not pretending like Thunder is a big deal. But if you want to watch it, there'll be like some good wrestling on it.
Yeah, I mean,
but the things
that have to heat up
will happen on Netflix.
I mean, it could be the Gunther show, and then it's just around a bunch of like new people heated up, put Drew on it. Like,
yeah,
you could make something of it, but.
Roman going over the top. That's a nice visual. Look, like a climbing boy.
Yeah.
He's very big. It's impressive. I don't know how these guys
biggest star
cages.
climbing.
Yeah, they don't.
Yeah.
I don't know how these guys do it. I know they're super athletes, but like Jesus, like there's no give. That's just a fence.
Yeah, I guess Austin used to climb cages all the time. The Attitude Era.
Yeah, it's true. And Taker's done it many times too. So
and Taker used to broke his ankle climbing the.
yeah, jumping down, right? Isn't that what broke it?
Yeah, I think so.
God, that sucks. I'd be so mad if I did all the climbing and then the jump part. I was like, God damn.
Yeah, right. The one thing that was unplanned.
Yeah. Oh,
Whoa.
That was a cool visual.
Yeah, it's fun.
I mean, babyface Roman been great,
Yeah, but he's still not like a suffering succotash.
No, and hopefully he never will be. Like, I like how they're still, from what I can tell, he's like a lot of the storyline in between here is like, that was cool using the other rope.
Yeah.
A lot of the storyline has been Roman like still being an asshole, but like understanding that like he needs allies in this fight, So it's not like he's a goody two shoes or a friend, but he's like, okay, like I get that, like even it's very practical,
Yeah.
It's like I know that I did wrong. I probably get that I did wrong, but I'm not really repenting so much as I am just acknowledging enough of my crimes to get everyone back on my side.
Oh, you see that dig?
Oh, he didn't pick up Punk, but he likes Sami though. That's good.
Didn't he call Heyman to get his help?
Yes. I think because he had to though, which is like, it's funny. Like I have to get CM Punk.
Yeah. But then I'm gonna treat him like a piece of shit. Oh, we got Heyman. Okay.
I didn't realize Punk was almost as tall as Roman. Is that true?
I guess so.
Is Punk that tall? Maybe he's just going up against Drew for so long. I just assumed Punk was a lot shorter.
Also, why are they using the bolt cutters? Aren't they supposed to lock up the cage?
Yeah, they're there now. Don't do that. Is Heyman screaming WarGames?
Yes. Do we really need this announcement?
It's also, again, it's so stupid. Like, this took so long to get here,
Yeah.
You go through, it takes literally a half hour almost to get here.
I also love the fact that they set up this whole comic book-esque panel of like everybody meets in the middle and just fights. I know it's like such a trope at this point, but
I know.
WCW never used to kind of play around with this.
No, they did not. They did not think that way. It's such an easy win though. Just punch.
Yeah, right.
Crowd goes wild.
Yeah, I mean, WWE presentation at times I'm like, this is kind of such a bastard. But at times it's like this. It's like, yeah, you want to build to that moment.
Yeah.
Even if it is like contrived as fuck, but who cares?
Yeah, it's okay. It can be contrived.
Yeah.
Like I said, as long as it executes and people like it and it's fun in the moment, like it's wrestling. It should be somewhat contrived.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I mean,
yeah. Let's stop trying to. People should be surprised. You will surprise them more if you surprise them less, If they're not expecting a surprise every 5 seconds, when you actually do a surprise, they'll be like, holy shit, I can't believe that.
Right.
If you surprise them over and over, they're going, I don't care. This is stupid. Like, that's obviously the Vince Russo lesson is just stop this,
Yeah.
Stop swerving us.
Yeah, swerving for the sake of swerving is not.
And I think H is a big, and I don't think Vince was a big swerve. Vince just couldn't keep stories going for more than a month.
Right.
Whereas H can just keep it going, and he understands again that you just get to the end, and get to there in a pleasant manner.
Yeah, exactly. We have Punk and. I am kind of intrigued by this, seeing Punk and Roman.
Yeah, it's good. I didn't think I cared at all when I heard about it, and watching it, they're doing a very good job with like the visual language of it all and their personalities and their little acting quirks of making me go, oh, it's fun.
Yeah.
Because they haven't touched since Punk came back. Like Roman's been doing other shit the entire time or gone.
Yeah. And if nothing else, they're just two alpha dogs just like occupying the same space. That's how it should work.
Yeah. Well, one actual alpha dog and one guy who desperately wanted to be an alpha dog and then now has sort of calmed down seemingly in his old age.
Sure.
And accepts that he's probably not the alpha dog, and that's fine for now. Exactly. But yeah, big ass personalities though for sure. Oh,
that could have been practiced a few more times with the PC, but sure.
You do. You love the mistaken spear though. It's one of the best like mistake moves, when you hit somebody by accident.
Yeah, anyone who thought that was going to be the end of the match is That's hilarious.
Solo did his beloved move, the punch. Yeah, Solo's gonna be weird because, like I said, it's gonna have to go back to. Like I said, I think it'll go back to Rock, Roman, Cody, and if it does, what do these 4 guys do? Do they just team up with Rock? Like probably, because Rock's probably gonna be the bad guy. But then what do they do at like a Mania, for example? You know, like do they fight for the tag belts? Do they just they had the tag? I mean, I think they just sort of fart around on the periphery of the main event. Like I don't know. I just know Soul Sco doesn't does not an interview guy.
Oh, what the hell just happened?
I feel like Jacob Fatu looks like he hurts himself every single time I see him in the ring.
Yeah. Oh my god.
And sometimes he has, sometimes he's just selling because he moves like a nut job, and so
yeah. Holy shit. Yeah. Well, now did he hurt himself?
Yeah.
Or is that just him covering a huge botch?
I think that happened at Bloodline or at Bad Blood too, right?
Yeah, he hurt his knee before.
Did he actually hurt his knee then, or was that a fake?
Oh, I don't.
I think it was a fake.
Yeah, maybe you're right.
I think I read somewhere after, but he sells it so well. And like I said, he just gives off. He just seems like the kind of guy who gets hurt all the time. So everyone's like, oh, I guess he hurt himself. But they're like, no.
I mean, I'm convinced it looked like he fucking hurt himself.
It's very. I'll have to check websites when we're done.
Yeah. No spoilies. Although I can imagine that the faces win, but maybe
I'm just letting the match play out. So I'm glad you don't know what's going to happen. So
yeah, I have no idea. I'm truly watching this blind. I have no context going into it, and I have no context.
Oh, spear! I think we're getting to. I swear there's a big spot. I swear I was told something crazy happens.
We still have like 20 more minutes.
Do we really?
Or no, I mean with celebrations, probably.
Probably 10 more minutes of match, right?
Yeah.
This
we are cutting this the second that the bell rings.
Yeah. Well, the celebrations is the only part I've seen. So.
Oh my god, I can't believe they were asking.
I'll tell you what happens. This is the crazy spot.
Yeah.
I think this is. I mean, I haven't seen it yet. I just heard about it, and this is just watching this is crazy. I'll tell you. You know, if this goes well, I get where Bronson Reed's in the match.
Yeah.
Wow. How is this not?
Rikishi.
Oh, I was gonna say, how do you not? Wow.
Wow, that's a great rescue spot too.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was about to say, how does this not hurt or kill Roman? And then I was like, oh, because he just misses. How does that hurt? How does that hurt or kill Bronson Reed? Jesus,
question.
That's so high, and he's so big. They timed that. That was close too.
Oh my god, yeah, that was better time than the.
Yeah, that was really well. So they really gave. And to be Roman, just lay there and be like, I gotta have my eyes closed, and I gotta, wait till I get. Once Punk touches me, I probably can roll, but until then, I need to just wait, and hope this guy doesn't fall on top of me.
Yeah.
That's great. That's a great. Oh, there we go. Sign of respect.
It's so silly, but at the same time, it's like so perfect.
It is a really good.
Why wouldn't you build to this moment?
You did. I will say that they just justified both their involvements in this match. Probably, I don't think it has to. It doesn't further this story, but it's still that was pretty good. Oh.
Okay, so Jacob Fatu not actually hurt.
Yeah, fine. Oh.
All right.
Oh, Uso.
Also, when did Jay lose the IC title?
I think to Braun Breaker at some point.
Okay.
I think Breaker beat Sami, and then Jay beat Braun, and then Braun beat Jay again.
So I assume Jay is just gonna keep being a singles star.
Yeah.
Right?
Apparently, he's like his merch is like top 3 sales, and everyone loves him. So
I believe it.
This Yeet thing is huge.
Yeah, kids love Yeet.
Everyone loves Yeet. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel old as shit just saying the word Yeet. Oh.
Yeah.
Nice. The crowd's loving this. I'll say the Vancouverites.
Yeah.
So far, it's a lot of simple pleasures. A lot of just the usual stuff with a lot of guys that they like.
Yeah. WarGames doesn't have to be like super overbooked. Just give me something like this.
Yeah.
I also had to remember. So last year was not Bloodline related. It was Judgment Day related, and I had to like
Oh yeah,
remind myself of that. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. They did Judgment Day instead.
oh, I forgot about that. That's interesting. I mean, which I guess Judgment Day just sort of naturally has to be neutered a little bit now that they lost Damien and all that and Rhea, but
Yeah, right.
they're still around. They just are not at that level anymore.
God, how is the Blue Thunder Bomb not this guy's finisher?
I
That
know.
move is so good.
It's a great backup finisher.
There we go.
Something tells me Jimmy's not going to get the pin here, though.
Some tells me Jimmy is just gonna
miss this one too.
I think this one feels.
He's less huge though, so it probably wouldn't kill him if he hit him. Bronson Reed feels like he would literally kill you if he hit you.
Wow, this drone shot is A+ production.
Yeah, Kevin Dunn, eat your heart out.
Yeah.
Oh, he did get him. Wow.
But he's probably not gonna get the pin though.
No. That feels like
Sami.
Did he get up and fall down?
Sami is the perfect like Toy Story ragdoll like.
He really is. Oh, Sami gonna get the.
Oh no, he's gonna help Jimmy to
help him get the pin, or is his best friend?
I think so.
Is he just gonna mush the Usos together?
Yeah. Oh no, he's gathering the troops to.
Oh, I think they're going to beat up on Solo, right?
Yeah.
I think they're all just gonna triple team Solo.
Yeah.
That's smart tactical decision making.
Yeah.
Oh, he's getting everybody up.
Yeah.
Oh, teamsmanship.
Yeah, friendship wins again.
Yeah, friendship
in WarGames.
Oh, and Roman's their friend too.
Yeah.
Are they all going to give? I assume they're all going to give Solo their finishers.
Mm-hmm.
In like a Ninja Turtle style, they're all going to do the shells onto the guy.
If I had to guess, that's exactly what I would guess.
Tatsu.
Yeah, they're gonna do a 4-person, 5-person turtle shell smash.
It is nice to see the different camera work, though. You know, to not just cut 8,000 times.
Yeah.
All those videos, a million videos out there. I was just watching Kevin Dunn's just insanity of just why can't you just let things happen for a second?
Here's how you don't produce and film wrestling.
Even though you're technically the best to ever do it, it's almost by default. Oh, kicks.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
Oh. Just Punk gets to do put him to CPs.
Yep.
And then he stands up and gets speared. Oh, that was fun. Okay. That's a crowd pleaser. Oh, there we go. As you noted, the good guys win. Very satisfying. But the bad guys, what happens next? And now 5 minutes of celebrations. What happens, Walt, is they're all standing next to each other, and Roman, they all do the fingers in the air, the one finger that Roman does, and then Punk does a little go to sleep thing on the side of his head.
Oh.
And everyone made fun of Punk. They're like, go to sleep. Is that your like taunt? just do the fists or whatever, you know? Do the cross fists.
Yeah. It sucks. So nothing actually of consequence happens.
No, they just pose for a while, and then it's a sign of teamsmanship again. It's just more. Which watching the match, I just watched the end clip before, and I was like, oh, there must have been some discord in the match. They did great. They were such a good team at the end.
Yeah. Okay, great.
They had a beautiful moment of teamsmanship. So
okay, you don't have to end in tragedy every time.
We're all set. I think we can stop this watch along here. But that was a fun, as war games go. That was a very entertaining war game. It was long it was 41 minutes and 55 seconds, but it was very traditionally satisfying.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm glad that it wasn't overbooked, because then I wouldn't really have going in fresh. I wouldn't have any idea what was happening anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of glad it was just like an open close like case.
And now they can
for
fold.
wrestling.
Bronson Reed can probably just, float right off into the ether. Or maybe he gets mad at like Punk, maybe him and Punk, maybe they just put him in the Punk Seth feud and then spin off Seth and, Punk later. Who knows? But it's, their presence did not hurt the match at all. It was, for a thing that seems stupid on paper, I think it was very enjoyable when they actually got going.
Yeah.
And Bronson Reed got the big spot. You always want the guy who doesn't really like, thinking about Rikishi at the, and that one Hell in a Cell we watched, like you always want the big, most relevant guy to take the big bump because it's like, great, we just get him. He's here to take the big bump, and no one, who's more famous gets hurt, and so everybody wins.
Yeah, just someone has to fall into the back of the
big hay.
The hay truck, yeah.
Someone has to fall into the hay.
It's not going to be Austin. It's not going to be Kurt Angle. It's not going to be Undertaker. It's not going to be The Rock. So
yeah, and then none of these other. I mean, Jimmy and Bronson Reed are the two people who absolutely should be jumping off the top of the cage. So
yeah, great.
Well, I think that was a treat, and like I said, we'll see where this goes from now. It'll be interesting. I'm really not totally sure, but as H has done since he's took over, like I'm intrigued to see what happens next because there's they set some stuff up and they got Rumby coming, and we all love Rumby, so we'll see where they take this from here.
WarGames is becoming a match though that I look forward to every year because it seems like very intentional with how they set it up throughout from SummerSlam on, yeah.
And they're building to like there's always a stable that is of consequence that people team up to fight against,
Yeah.
Which is so much better than the so many years of Survivor Series matches where it's just they put guys together for no reason whatsoever.
Because of brand loyalty, which
the stupidest
Netflix
thing in the
loyalty.
World. Yeah, Netflix loyalty. Yeah. That's what they should do going forward. It's like, I love Netflix. I love the USA Network. And then they fight over that.
Yeah, right.
I love
Cable
the
TV.
I love the
better.
CW.
Yeah.
Broadcast TV is where it's at.
I love commercials. Sure you do, pal.
That would be great. I look forward to that next year. That's the right way to go.
Yeah.
But for now, this was pretty good.
Yeah, no notes.
For more watch-alongs, you can find our archives at awesometruth.libsyn.com. For episodes old and new, subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever podcasts are delivered. Well, good watch-along, good to watch, and we'll return to some regularly scheduled programming, docs, and books in the near future.
Yeah, let's watch and read stuff.
Yeah, we'll do the best we can. We'll watch and read just for you all. Thank you so much
Sorry.
Thank you all so much for listening. And remember, the truth will set you free.